Welcome back to the dopest show you won't get sick of. I'm Spencer. This is Sasha. I spent most of my 20s in federal prison, but I've been off heroin since April 9, 2010. Got a lot of stories about the stupid stuff I did to get put in prison, the crazy stuff that happened while I was in prison, and God forbid you end up in prison. You won't have to make some of the same mistakes I made. So, Strawberry. Want to know why they call me Strawberry? That's what this guy would come up and say to everybody. A few people have been asking for me to do video talking about that. Okay, so first off, Petersburg Medium. I ended up there from the low after I did 6 months at the low, 3 months in the hole, and then I spent 2 years at the medium before going back to the low again. So 40% of the population are chomos. They get sent there from all over the place. See, the feds don't just send people to, they don't have like what's called SNY protection yards, so there is half the population that are locals. DC, Maryland, Virginia, North, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky. If you're from there, there's a very good chance you'd end up at Petersburg because it's local to you, okay? And also, if you're at another prison and you're eligible for the RDAP drug program, not every prison has RDAP, so a lot of people end up getting transferred to Petersburg so they can take the RDAP drug program, which takes a year off your sentence. So best believe if you're doing federal prison time and you could take that program, you're going to take that program. I'm telling you that. There's a few idiots that didn't, had all kinds of weird logic behind it. But, you know, it takes a year off your sentence just to do this 9-month program and to deal with the little charades that they had in it. It was foolish. It was stupid. But, you know. And then there's a LCP, a religious program, which gives up to a year halfway house. 9 months was pretty typical. People were getting a lot of halfway house. And see, halfway house isn't just you serve your prison sentence, then you get your stuff together in the halfway house. Yeah, you can get your stuff together in the halfway house. But let's say you have a 5-year sentence. You're going to do about 4 years and 3 months on that. If you get 9 months halfway house, they will release you after 3.5 years to the halfway house. The time you're in the halfway house counts towards your prison sentence, so it's a good thing. So for the drug program, you could take 18 months off your sentence, a year off, plus 6 months in the halfway house. That's what was typical. You know, so someone on a 5-year sentence, you think about that. 4 years, 3 months. I mean, they'd end up doing like 2 years and 9 months on a 5-year sentence. If you did RDAP, you got the year off, got 6 months halfway house plus the good time. So I mean, people are taking that. So just because of that, you could end up at this freak show of a prison, and 40% of the population are chomos. When you get there, you are told you better not lay a hand on them because you'll get a hate crime. They tell you that. I mean, that's wild to me. Like 5-year mandatory minimum. I believe it was Jessica Kent. She's a prison YouTuber. She was talking about one of her friends got charged with that. They ended up dropping it. But anyway, they let you know it's their prison, and it's crazy. Like a lot of the staff there end up becoming friends, like best friends with these awful chomos. I can't even explain how absurd and crazy it is. So I get to the medium security after being released from the hole. I get put in a 4-man room. It's 3 guys who are Native Americans, and they politely let me know, you know, it's a Native-only cell, and, you know, for all you people out there thinking, well, I've got a grandma that's Native American. No, that ain't gonna fly, okay? If you're not full-on Native with, like, a registration number and paperwork proving that you're full-on Native, you aren't going to be rolling with the Native crew. That's how they do. At the low security, it was a different story. Their group that did the Native ceremonies was mostly full of like white dudes with blue eyes that claimed they had a grandma. But at the medium, it was different. At the medium, there were probably, but it wasn't a good representation. It was usually the bad ones that got beat up in North and South Dakota and sent out to Petersburg because they were chomos and messed up. So wasn't a good representation as a whole of the ones that I met there, but it did meet many good ones there too, you know. So anyway, the counselor, the first thing I do when I talk to her is I say, you know, I think it'd be better if I could move to another cell. Well, this isn't the Holiday Inn. It chewed me out, and I'm like, well, that's great. I've got these people that don't want me in their cell. I've got this counselor that won't move me. That could cause me problems. There's actually a funny story about a white guy with like a fro-y blonde hair that got put in their cell off the jump, and they told him, you know, it's a Native-only cell politely, and he's like, he bucked on him. He refused to leave out of spite, and that's a funny story I'll tell another day. But so that was the first thing. Stressful because of that. Oh, no. Something even worse than that. When I first got to the medium, I hadn't been outside. I'd been in the hole for 87 days, hadn't seen sunlight. So I get my stuff to make my bed. I don't make my bed. I just put it on top of the bed and figure, you know, I'll go out, you know, walk the yard and I'll make the bed later. I came back and I don't have a blanket. This counselor goes around checking the rooms, and if the rooms aren't made perfect, if you've got stuff out, she'll just take it. So I was left without a blanket. I didn't have a freaking blanket. I had to sleep on a mat with nothing on it. And we had this guy. I mean, he looked like, you could put a condom over him. He looked like a wiener. He didn't have any eyebrows. You can't trust a man with no eyebrows. I mean, this guy looked like, you got like the skinheads that shave their eyebrows. Well, he wasn't a skinhead. That's just how it was. He just didn't grow it in, and he was a super CO who everybody couldn't stand. Just jerk, just to be a jerk. Okay, so I mean, I was stuck that blank. That sucked that first day. Ended up, making friends with a couple people. Somebody had an extra one. I got one, but that's a bad first day. So heard about, certain places that you can sit, certain places you can go. And if you sit in somebody's spot, you might get in a fight, you might get poked up. People take their spots in the TV room and in front of TV seriously. So I pick a spot behind all the rows, up against the wall, 10, 15 foot back, away from everybody else. I put my chair there. I watch TV. This 350-pound white guy with his hair parted, with glasses, looks like comes down, sits down beside me. I'm like, what? Why? I sat here to be away from and I've told the story over and over. He looks at me, and then I'm like, and when I look over, he looks back. He looks at me. I'm like, and he looks back, like all awkward. Then all of a sudden he goes, "Hi, I'm Strawberry. Want to know why they call me Strawberry?" I said, "No, I don't." Got up and left. So apparently, the one place I picked to put my chair that seemed like it was a good spot just happened to be where he puts his chair every day. That was my luck. My cautiousness put me in a chair where this guy comes up and approach, and he would come up and approach anybody. I mean, the biggest, meanest dude with face tattoos. He'd approach everybody. Now he had, I guess, now see, talking about this type of thing, you think I like talking about this type of thing? You think I like living with this? No, I did not. But it's what I was forced to live with, just because I'm from Virginia, and this was the closest prison to my house. So it was what I was forced to deal with, like this type of deviancy. I mean, it sucks, but I mean, it's just how it was. And if you went there for RDAP or the LCP program, you're going to have to deal with it too. I mean, just because I can't explain, it sucks. So he had this dude who was his man. Okay, I think it was like Lamar or something like that. But anyway, Lamar's a black dude. He was from DC. Seemed normal. Didn't seem nothing weird about him. But it was known that he was like, they had like a thing or something, like fix meals together and all this stuff. And but I guess it definitely wasn't exclusive, because I saw it literally. I was only in that unit for a year before I went to the RDAP drug program. During the course of that year, I'm not joking, being in an open pod, you can see, you know everybody's business. You can see every cell. You can hear if something's happening. At the low security, it's a regular building. You could not hear that. So you see a guy go in the room with them, put up the bathroom sign, nasty stuff is going on, okay? And there was some weird stuff. I found out stuff I didn't want to know, okay? I kept, like, normally, up when you go to pill line, see, if you take medication, you have to go in the morning and the evening, stand in this long line. At the medium, it could be an hour, hour and a half if the slow guy's working. At the low, it wasn't as bad. A slow guy's working only took 30 minutes. But at the medium, there were literally over 100 people that took medication. I mean, it's a large prison, a lot of people, a whole lot of people. I can't, but, Satan, there's a guy who's friends with Satan who did tattoos. He'd ask for gloves, like rubber gloves. And, because sanitary issue, whenever he does tattoos, not to get the blood on. But I kept seeing Strawberry and this other guy go up there and get gloves. And I'm like, they don't have any tattoos. And I asked them, like, what are they always asking for gloves for? They're like, man, rubber gloves. And I'm like, yeah. They're like, rubber. Yeah, rubber gloves being used as a rubber. I found that out. Didn't care to know that. Okay, this, and you get like just going there. You may think, oh, not me. They wouldn't approach me. And it's like I said, when I was at the low security, there was this young fella, this guy who's from Tennessee, stocky fella, talked about, I believe he was a GD, gangster disciple. He's talking, nah, they wouldn't approach me. Nah, dawg, it wouldn't happen to me. The guy who was sitting next to him is a 6'6", 350-pound black man with face tattoos. Cool dude, but I mean, this is a dude looks like, I mean, he's got face tattoos. He's 350 pounds and 6'6". This is just like a giant man, and he go, you know, people talk like this, kind of like they breathe heavy when they talk. He said, and he always had this mean look, but when he tapped, he said, nah, dog. Because I was trying to tell him, I said, yeah, because he was saying he wanted to get in trouble so he could get to the medium, because he didn't like how the low had no respect, and he wanted to go to the medium so he was going to get in trouble. I said, you might want to rethink that. Is it in type medium you're thinking you're going to? He's like, and I tell him, and he's like, nah. Well, the big man tapped me, he said, and his mean look went, and his eyebrows went up. He said, nah, dog. He said, nah, he's telling you the truth. He said, they approached me. And if they approach me, they definitely going to approach you. So, there was a number of funny stories, you know, stuff that happened. There's my buddy Wood. It was actually how we became friends, because Wood would torment people. He'd torment Strawberry. He had the funniest one-liners ever. I believe he's back in prison now. He's in and out of it. But if I never get him on here, man, he'll have you rolling. I'm telling you. You know, got to make sure he's doing good for a little bit when I talk to him, you know, just because, you know, got to keep myself safe. Can't be taunting people that are back in active addiction using anything. But Wood was a good friend, man. That was a good dude. Coolest prison fight ever? Same Wood from that. Now, Wood goes up to Strawberry, and he says, I heard you got caught doing the angry monkey down there at education. And he said, ooh, the angry monkey. What's that? You know, thinking that Wood was going to tell him some type of nasty stuff that he liked to hear. And Wood said, I heard you got one banana here and another banana here. And you went, ah! And I started rolling laughing. I like to laugh, you know, just because you're in a bad place. Laughter is like the best medicine. You know, if something's upset me, anything's going on, laughter can cure a lot. And I like people to make me laugh too. So me and Wood, we'd cut up. Wood would torment him, though. Wood was terrible with it. But anyway, there were a number of incidents, you know, that Strawberry found himself in. I told a story about that ghost in Millhouse. They extorted him and got him for a little bit. That's another story in itself. But there were like weird little games that people would play with each other. Like it was like soap opera type games. So there's this dude. Okay, I've told a story about him. He was a guy who had somebody on the outside. He was in a relationship with a man on the outside, and this guy moved in his cell, and he turned him out. And when that guy wrote a letter to his man on the outside saying, he's with me now, you need to quit writing him, he claimed he got assaulted falsely, which got completely dispelled. Well, that guy ended up talking to the Lamar guy, and it was like orchestrated to upset Strawberry to get like make him have a fit to get laughs off of. And it was funny because Lamar had all this food over the table fixed all perfect, making people make these feasts in prison. I'm telling you, people spend 4 hours on a meal sometimes. Like I can't tell you, like people really get into it. And I mean, they made some pretty incredible stuff. I can't say that, you know, food was just terrible. Everything else terrible, but food, if you had a little cash, you could make some good stuff in there. So he's got vegetable, everything chopped up, probably looked like $20-$30 of food on this table, which is a lot. In prison, that's a lot of money. You got to think, if it's $10 in prison, it's like having $200-$300 on the street, the equivalent. So he's got like $20-$30 of food lined up across the table. You see Strawberry go over to him and say something about it because he was upset right after the one guy who I told you, the one before that was orchestrating this to upset him. And you see Strawberry go over and he flipped the table. Food went everywhere. That was one of the incidents, and it was funny. Lamar went in the cell after you heard a bunch of hollering, them having their little distressful stuff. But this is the type of stuff that you had to be around every day. Okay? It was not fun. Okay? Not fun at all. It was not a fun time. Now, of course, you ask yourself, somebody like that goes up and approaches people. They approach enough people, they're going to catch the right one, right? Yeah, you're going to catch the right one. And it was right before I left. See, pill line, where you line up pills, go to medical, to the left of it is indoor rec. It's single floor, but they're all glass windows so you can see what's going on inside of them. The pool tables and everything in there. And somebody's like, whoa, and I look over, and this guy lit Strawberry up. They hit the buttons, everybody's got locked down. We had to go inside a medical. We had to go inside medical because we're standing in pill line. You have to go in the closest place that you are and get locked down into it. Well, of course, they bring Strawberry. His jaw was hanging. Like when someone's jaw's broken, that dude broke his jaw. Okay? Dude broke his jaw. And they brought him past everybody in there, took him in the back. Then they opened everything back up again. Nothing ever stayed locked down for any amount of time there. They have to appear like they had everything under control. So yeah, this is literally the Twilight Zone, and there's kind of a double-edged sword, with this place. You're stuck there. You get put there by pure chance. But if you do something to get yourself in trouble, assault one of these chomos, there's a very large chance, if you're at the medium, that you're going to get sent to USP, that you're going to get sent to Big Sandy. There were a number of people that got sent to Big Sandy from the medium. When I was getting let out of the hole to go to the medium, there were people, and they were talking about where they were going to, and there was a few of them that was getting sent from the medium to Big Sandy. And that's not somewhere you want to do your time. So even as bizarre as this is, and as crazy as it is, you or around stuff and life is miserable, but the level of violence, you can't even compare it to that. So anyway, figured there are enough people that asked about that. I've talked about some of this stuff before, but I figured I'd give that's pretty much a rundown of that. If you like the video, press the like button. If not, at 17 minutes and 34 seconds of your life, in which you'll never get back. But I truly hope you did. And that answers the question about Strawberry. Oh, and just in case you're wondering, I don't know why they called him Strawberry. That's a question I don't know. I didn't ask. I did not want to know. Oh, another quick funny story. The guy who put out that list that was doing all the stuff with people in the RDAP drug program, this was just something that made me laugh. The guy who had the eBay scandal, he's like 5 foot tall, 240. Strawberry's like 5'9", 350, and they'd stand at just a reasonable space between each other, and they swayed when they talked. And any other normal people, it would be a comfortable distance. You weren't up on each other, but their bellies rubbed together because their bellies went out too far. That was just something funny. I figured it made me laugh. I saw it happen. It was unintentional comedy, and I pointed over, and Wood ended up making a couple jokes off that. Wood is a funny dude. I need to see where he's at, man. That was a good friend. But anyway, if you liked the video, press the like button. If not, I'm truly sorry for you. Y'all have a good one.